Hola Bom dia and welcome to this week's video of Portugal Dreams. We've been up to all sorts of things this week. We've got loads of variety to show you. Planting, as you can see, the corn's coming up already. I didn't realise it came up so fast. Steve's done some work in the adaga. He's put in some of the rubble back in for hardcore ready so that we can cement it. All sorts, there's loads going on. So this week I've also done a Portuguese recipe, so if you watch along with us now and you'll see what we've been up to this week, because we've been up to all sorts.
So when we had the land ploughed a couple of years ago, you left like a perimeter around this side, around the edge. Obviously you couldn't get any closer because of the bushes and stuff. But because of that, we've ended up with quite a deep drop off here. When you're strimmering, you're sort of trying to get into a groove and it's a little bit awkward. We are going to plough this lot at this side again. So I'm just backfilling this hole with stuff out the adaga, just trying to get rid of it, spread it around the land a little bit, but obviously because it's got a nice groove there, I can fill that in. So that's what I've been doing before, and I'm just going to continue with that for an hour or so. Just get a few more bits out of the way. I'm getting very close now to getting the adaga how I want it, so I can start loading some of the stone and tiles and things like that in there off that pile of rubble that you keep seeing and we keep on about. It's a bit of an eyesore. It's also causing us some other problems, like we can't get the caravan out, or we haven't attempted to get the caravan out, but it's very close to the heap, so yeah, we'll have a go at doing something there. So my next job this morning is just finish off filling this hole in, but I need some more dirt, mud, whatever. I'm going to dig that out of the adaga. And instead of putting it further down the land, I'll put it on first barrow two on here, just fill that out, then we'll put some stone back on the top. So that's it filled in. We need some more stone, which we knew anyway, and we're going to get some soon. There was never enough on in the first place, to be honest.
We seem to have a few red strawberries about, so I'm just going to pick a few for tea. I'll have those with maybe some ice cream. So some of them look ready, but when you turn them over, they're still not quite ready, so I'm trying to just turn them over so that the sun can get at them and ripen them. As you know, this is only our second year at producing some of our own food. Some of these are not looking very healthy. I think what the problem is we've had quite a lot of rain, and I think we maybe need to put some more straw under the plants, which will not only keep the bugs off. I don't think these are bug eaten, they're just rotting because they're wet, but the straw will help to keep them above the wet soil, so they will grow and ripen better. Where the ground was uneven down here, Steve's just taking some of the soil out of the adaga and just backfilling. Just to help level the ground, because I think this kind of section here where the goat seesaw is, I think we're going to, not this year but next year, I think we'll plant something like potatoes or something in it. So there weren't as many good ones as I thought there were, and these sort of ones I'm just going to throw to the chickens, but you know, we'll still have a few with ice cream tonight for dessert. So this is the lily plant that Ellie Rose bought me last year, Carla Lily. I thought I'd killed it because I forgot to put it away. I didn't realise that we got such severe frosts in Portugal as what we had this year. And yeah, to my surprise, I've fed it and kept watering it, and it's actually coming through.
So again, today I've just been digging a bit out in the adaga. I'm now at a finished level where I want to be for digging out. I've just put the laser level up roughly just to see how much depth I've got and make sure I'm okay with my depth. I'm going to have about 3 inches of concrete on top of the rubble when I get it here, and I've backfilled all this, but I'll just show you how much rubble we can probably get in. So I know I'm slightly above the door. Height, probably an inch. As I say, I've just roughly put the level there. So when we get to the far wall, I'm probably a good foot, maybe a bit more. So if I'm having 3 inches of concrete and I'm a foot down, that'll give me round about 9 inches, or probably 200 mil of hardcore, and then another 100 mil more or less of concrete. As you can see, the floor actually slopes quite a lot where I've dug out, but there's still sufficient there for what I want. I know it'll be down another inch to what I'm showing you now, but yeah, an inch isn't much in the scheme of things. So yeah, I'm well happy with that. What we'll do is we'll build the hardcore up to about this level, which will give me the level of the step there to concrete. So if that's 4 inches, that's what I'll have concrete right across the level of the floor. So yeah, it'll be my first time doing anything like this, so we'll see how it goes. Ends are out again. I just put the food in the tub for them, but they don't seem to be interested. They'd rather come for another wander. Just going to chase them in, shut them in for the night, because I've got to go for the goats. I don't want them getting onto the weeds what we've been killing.
So the chards are doing really well in this pot, most of them anyway. So I'm just going to pop them in the beds. And just pick the bits of stones I had in the bottom for drainage, get rid of them. And this looks a nice big healthy one. We've already got compost, manure and soil in this bed. I should have watered that first. I'll water it in a minute. So let's see what we've got next. That looks a good healthy one. It's a weed. I've not grown these before. I don't know very much about them. But I've planted in the little trays quite a lot from seed, so we should have quite a lot to go at. And I forgot my gloves. That looks quite big and healthy. And we've just got 2 little ones, so I might just try and spread these out here. Oops, weed. So these 3 didn't get watered as I put them in, so I'll just pop a bit of water on them now. It's evening time, so they should be fine. I've got a mint plant there. Probably heard me say before, it helps to keep the bugs off things. So that's some more bits planted.
So as you can see this morning, I've also started to bring some of the rubble off the pile into the adaga. I'm still breaking it up. I'm using a sledgehammer just to smash bits and bobs up. I want to break it down more than what it is at the moment because I've still got some quite big pieces. And then I want to tamp it down. I don't know what I'm going to use for that at the moment. At the moment I'm using a sledgehammer to sort of drop on the tiles and just break them up. These are very hard tiles. They break with sharp edges, which is one reason why we don't want to use them on the drive. We'll use the clay tiles for that later. But yeah, I'll just show you what I'm doing with the sledgehammer. I ain't going to do much because I've been doing quite a lot already. Just to give you an idea of what the job's like. We've got about, I think I said about 8 inches needed of this all over the floor. before we put another 3 inches of concrete on top. So that should give me a nice base for it, but I do need to tamp it into the ground a bit, make sure it's sort of levelish when I've finished. I've also got some smaller bits and some sandy bits to put in between the bigger bits so it'll compact it more when I get some more of this down. So basically what I'm doing is just really dropping the sledgehammer on the tile. So what I'm really doing is just lifting and dropping the sledgehammer on the tiles, giving it a bit of impact. Some of the bits of concrete I'm going to use as a sledgehammer and just hit them a few times, but this seems to break them up reasonably. I've also found if you have more than one tile, you know, 2 or 3 tiles crisscrossed and just dropped as junk, when you hit them they break up better. You don't just get a crack across it. So the more I get broken up, the more when I put other tiles on it'll break easier. That's my theory anyway. I do expect this to be a long process. It isn't going to be finished probably before end of summer, maybe a bit later. I'm in no hurry to do it. It's more getting rid of the pile of rubble than it is finishing this area. So it'll be done in sort of bits on cooler days. It'll also be, if I want to do an hour, I'll come and do something like this before we go anywhere or after we come back. As I say, it's going to be a long process, and that's the way it is. It'll just get done when it gets done. So where I'm stood now is about 5 inches lower than the level of the floor, and as you can see it still slopes down a fair way from here. It's about that deep to go near the front edge here. There is some bits that aren't quite as deep. If I can get rid of most of this orange tile in here, I'll be quite happy. We do have the barn next door, which I've started taking the stone out. You probably saw in an earlier video. What I'm thinking of doing there is taking the rest of the stone out of one side, getting it somewhere near flat, and then moving the wood, what's in there, across to one side, so we can remove the other side as well at some point. Again, these are jobs what are infill jobs. They're not the main job what needs doing. This time of year obviously it's gardening, tidying up. We want to get some pointing done round the back of the house and get some painting done at some point before winter sets in. That's a long way off, I know. Maybe before the summer sets in as well, because the hotter it gets, cementing's not too good in really hot weather. It dries out too quick, although we can keep spraying it down. And painting, well, that'll probably dry too quick as well. So, you know, we'll find jobs to do as we go. So this is where I'm moving the rubble from. At the moment I'm moving from this side. I've got all this tin to move next, and then some of the stuff underneath it. So what we want to do is get the caravan out as well. So we shouldn't need too much out to get it out, but obviously first things to get the rubble out of the way. Some of this is pretty dense concrete under there, so yeah, main thing's get some of it moved so we can get the van out, as I say. So this morning I've been doing a bit more digging out over on the rubbish pile, and this afternoon I've just decided to put some strings down for the peas. They seem to be doing quite well. So I've just put a thin cord down just to let them climb up. Once they get going, they'll get onto these bars, I hope, and yeah, just spread all over it. I just noticed I chopped these down last year and they've been laid on the floor.
That one's starting to
and that
sprout.
one's starting to sprout. Oh dear, never mind. We can dig it out later and plant it down the land if it stays like that. I don't know what it is. I think that's a pear, because this is redder woods, cherry.
Okay.
But we cut some pear off as well.
There's some buds on these as well. Look.
Oh, there've been buds on them all the time. I never broke them off. Yeah.
Okay.
But none of them had come out as leaves. I'll be surprised if that does anything, but yeah.
We'll see. The farmer's been next door and just brought me some more onions to plant. He says my garlics are doing quite well, so I'm happy with that. He told me off for having so many onions and carrots close together, but it was always my intention to thin them out. So I've done that this morning, and they're no good, but I've got some thicker ones that I've saved which we'll use as spring onions in salads this week. These I'm going to use today because I'm cooking turkey today with Yorkshire puddings. So they'll do as baby carrots. So they're the, thanks Alfie, they're the spring onions. Well, they are the thinned out onions that I've pulled out to use as spring onions this week. These carrots have been thinned out. I think the chickens and the goats are going to enjoy them. And then I've got some more onions now to plant that the farmer's brought me round. So today I'm planting tomatoes. The tomatoes came from some friends of ours, Jean and Andreas. So what I do is I've got 50 litre bags of compost, and I put 3 crosses in the top and then just plant the tomato plant, 1 in each, so 3 in each bag. When we met Elaine yesterday for lunch from Pip's Living Off Grid, she'd made some sourdough bread, you might have seen in her recent video, and she brought us along a loaf as well, so we're just going to have some of that for lunch now. It looks very nice, it's very soft, and look how much air it's got in it, it's really good. I enjoy that. This week I'm going to do a Portuguese recipe. Sam and Pedro, who are 2 of our subscribers, do keep asking whether we do any Portuguese cooking. So I'm going to try this recipe. I've not done it before, so we'll just have to see how it goes. So I'm going to show you what ingredients I've got and what I've done so far. So far I've fried my onions and my garlic and popped it in the slow cooker so that the meat's nice and tender. So I've started by cutting all the meat up, the pork, into bite-sized pieces. It'll also help with the marinade. So I have half a cup of red wine. You can use white wine or red wine. I've got a pound of pork here. I'm going to put in half a tablespoon of this piri piri sauce, which I understand is a staple in Portugal. I'm going to mix that all together, and then I'm going to let that marinate for a couple of hours. I think it would probably be better done overnight. I'm just going to pop that in the fridge and let that marinate for a couple of hours. So that's been in the fridge marinating now for a couple of hours. I also added to it, I forgot to mention, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So I'm now going to add the meat to the frying pan with some olive oil in. And just gently fry that off until it's nice and brown. And I'm going to reserve the marinade. So that's starting to take on a little bit of colour now. So next I'm going to add a teaspoon of red pimento powder. You can get it in a paste form as well. I'm sure that's better than the powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. And you can now see how lovely the colour is of that. Salt helping to crisp it up, and the pimento is giving it a lovely rich colour. So I think that's ready to be added to the slow cooker now. So I'm just going to do that. And scrape all that loveliness off the bottom of the pan. All those flavours from the meat and pimento. I'm just going to add the rest of the marinade to the pot. Turn that on high and get that going, and then turn it down to low, and that'll be tonight's dinner. I'll show you the finished result. Oops, that's just steamed the camera up a little bit, but that's what the finished result is, and then I'll show you it plated up. So that's the finished result. It looks quite nice and it smells very nice too. And there's even some rice left over, which I'll put in the fridge overnight, and we'll eat it cold with the salad tomorrow. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video.
And don't forget, please like, subscribe and ring the notification bell. And don't forget Facebook and Instagram below. Bye.